Oh shit, she lit, a habit she got legit. We talked a bit, truthfully, I was tired.
Man, how do you say what's up in Norwegian?
Hva skjer?
Hva skjer, that's what it was. Yeah. Well, I'm only gonna be authentic, you know. That's what that's the only.
But that's what I want you.
Yeah.
Like, tell it what it is and comment during the video. Not like talk, but if you see something which is dope or something that sounds good or whatnot, just speak out. But first, like, what's your expectation when it comes to what I'll show you?
Well, I think at this point, I believe that hip hop is so prominent and so like all over the world, like for real. Like people have found what it is to express their version of hip hop, what hip hop is. I think it's potential for it to be really good. And then, you know, just like any other place, you're gonna have some people that's just okay. Some people is meant to do it. And some people, they doing it, you know, and it's cool, but it ain't like, it don't resonate on that high level. So I'm thinking, you know, nowadays that it's gotta be some greatness in hip hop in all over the world, Scandinavia, in India, in, you know, in Tanzania, it's great hip hop. So I'm looking forward to it.
We'll start with a Swedish video.
Okay.
He's actually the biggest rapper in Sweden right now, and he's 16.
What?
Ända sen jag var i skiten har jag velat bli en dealer. Så jag hämtade in kisen och jag duckade polisen. Mamma säger nu jag sliter efter andra bättre tider. Nu jag kämpar med musiken. Kolla mamma, nu vi skiner, nu vi skiner. Det har varit tufft, det har varit tufft. Men oavsett vad, du har aldrig varit en bluff. Du har alltid varit där när allting har varit kutt. Men nu vi kastar problemen för jag har tagit mig upp. Pengarna som kommer nu är vita. Jag ska köpa oss en villa, nu är vi rika. Jag ska hämta ett garage med flera bilar. Mannen, fuck och stå i centrum nu och deala.
He got a dope voice, I met him on that.
Du har varit där varje gång det var jobba. Du har kommit till arresten för mig när du har jobbat. Jag ska köpa dig en slott och en diamantklocka. Vem är som du? Vem är som du? Du har varit ung när allting har varit sjuk. Och knulla socialen
he dope.
De vet ingenting om oss, walla de är slut. Ända sen jag var i skiten har jag velat bli en dealer. Så jag
He only 16?
Yeah.
och jag duckade polisen. Mamma säger nu jag sliter efter andra bättre tider. Nu jag kämpar med musiken. Kolla mamma, nu vi skiner, nu vi skiner. Pengarna rullar in, hatar dig alla brinn. Jag kommer från ingenting, nu jag blivit bild för ungarna här omkring. Nu folket som hatar förut hör av sig och slår en pling. Om man är skids, fråga Hansa, mina hits får dig dansa. Tog en risk, killar chansa, min dick är hennes sansa. Oh shit, fuck och prata om min dick. Men de fastnade på min drip och hon sjunger nu på min hit. Ey, jag vill röka min här i fred med den Gary bredvid. Jag är ärlig med det, jag är ärlig med det. Och med allt som jag gjort man kan göra till en film. Och livet som jag levt, jag har varit långt från till. Men livet som jag levt, jag har varit ganska vilt. Men nu mamma kolla kontot, det är mitt. Ända sen jag var i skiten.
Yeah, I like how he even flipped his flow in this beginning of the second verse.
Och jag duckade polisen. Mamma säger nu jag sliter efter andra bättre tider. Nu jag kämpar med musiken. Kolla mamma, nu vi skiner.
He looking good at 16, man.
När jag velat bli en dealer. Så jag hämtade in kisen och jag duckade polisen. Mamma ser hur jag sliter efter andra bättre tider. Nu jag kämpar med musiken. Kolla mamma, nu vi skiner, nu vi skiner.
That's dope. That's dope. I like they gave tribute to their homie. Yeah, I like that. I rock with that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So what do you like about the track?
Well, I liked first was his the way he was flowing on it. Like I thought his style was, it didn't sound like, okay, man, I straight up heard somebody do this flow in the United States or whatever. It just, you know, it felt like it was his.
Yeah.
I like that. I liked the music felt good, but he rode the beat like in a dope way, and then he started styling. His voice was good, and then you know, he gave it up for his whoever who had passed. You know, that's always respect due when you do that. Like, but I liked his flow, and voice.
But the funny part about he's 16 and dropped his first album this summer, and all 14 tracks went straight into the top 50 Spotify in Sweden. And he actually dropped his second album this Friday, so he dropped 2 albums.
Wow.
Yeah, so he dominating the charts.
Really? That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Shoot 2 albums in
one summer. Yeah. And it's, as I've understood it, he dropped the second album just so because of the feedback from the first, and he was inspired, and he did another one, and then the album is called Number One, the second one.
16, that's great, man.
And this is
sounding good.
Norwegian group.
Okay.
Norway's by far biggest rap group, rapping in Norwegian, and that's also the thing, they all rap in their native language.
Well, to me, like the music from the last artist was, I felt like, you know, I might have heard music that felt like this a little, but he was, because he approached it in his way, and you know, even rapping in his own language was great. Rapping in Swedish was great, but I mean, because it automatically brings certain uniqueness to it.
Yeah.
But I could hear his flow was unique, and I like that. I respect that. Originality is
everything.
It means a lot, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Norway's biggest rap group. Fun fact, they actually bought this building.
What? Before this?
Yeah.
How long have they been out?
17 years or something.
Mike?
Oh, that's Mike that's filming it?
Jag sa ingen metafor eller bilder på ingen punchline. Skittles og papalicious på det lite luka. Første dagen da du åpna, jeg var der, 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 jeg var der. Bror, jeg har sett dem komme og gå, ingen punchline. Jeg sa ingen metafor eller bilder på ingen punchline. Skittles og papalicious på det lite luka. Første dagen da du åpna, jeg var der, jeg var der, jeg var der, jeg var der.
What do you say, y'all? I'm killing it.
Jag sa ingen metafor eller bilder på ingen punchline. Skittles og papalicious på det lite luka. Første dagen da du åpna, jeg var der, 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 jeg var der. Oh lord, oh lens, hodet mitt grøt og de spør meg om skjer. Man tror man kan håndtere noe mer enn når man kler må klær. Shimmy, shimmy, ja, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Alle vil han vite hva tror det pisser køy. Men hvor er just der, baby? Hvor er just Passer deg for døren, passer deg for kødd, passer deg for møbel, passer deg for øl. Slange er ikke slange. Mammaen min vet at det der jeg står den er faktisk øgle. Spiser også snegler, sånn sett nyttig. Jeg har ikke peiling. Hvor er du? Hvor er du? Her er jeg. Her er jeg. Synger du? Synger du? Det gjør jeg. EINÁR. Hei, sammen måtte felle pluss av skrift til og med. Bror, jeg har sett dem komme og gå, ingen punchline. Yeah. Jeg sa ingen metafor eller bilder på noe, ingen punchline. Hey. Skittles og batterisjes på det lite luka. Første dagen da det åpna, jeg var der. Jeg var der, jeg var der. Jeg var der, jeg var der, jeg var der. Hey. Yeah.
That got an energy. That got a real energy to it too. Like they. Plus, I think first of all, the style on that was super fresh, like super unique to me, and it just had a energy and a spirit to it that like made you want to move. Like it made you want to move, and it just like certain things like pull you in. As soon as like they started the music and then the vocalist came in, I was like, oh, I'm into it. Like I just wanted to, and it was like easy to catch, even though I didn't understand the language. It was still easy.
You kind of learned the hook after a while there.
Yeah, really. And that's not that's something I was talking about with some writers. It's not easy to write songs and get people to quickly get them. I mean, with it still being like quality, like you know, like
without being basic.
Without being just, and that was man. And I like that you could feel the organic energy of them playing together too. That watching them made me be like, first of all, it just made me just be like, oh man.
Went into sound check again.
Yo, it made me think like, it honestly took me back to working with some of the musicians that I work with and creating like, I mean, I created the new project like live musicians and we created, but this made me think of like them days where somebody on the drum machine and then somebody playing the keys and then you coming up with something. It felt organic and like real pure, and that energy came through.
Yeah.
And as soon as the song started, it made me also recognize how, you know, the music here in Scandinavia, or right here, and specifically to them, what they did is like, it felt free. It felt like it wasn't. You forget that the music could be that free.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I always strive for. But
the funny part about these guys that usually they use like a mortgage on their music video, and it's always big and bigger and better. So for them to do something this organic is quite cool.
Yeah, you saying they that big that it's like always.
Yeah, and they always strive to do different things. Like this is like a bonus track from their latest project. In their latest album, they dropped the whole album as one track. So you have to listen to the whole album from start to finish.
Wow.
You can't skip because it's one track.
It's one track, yeah.
Yeah. And the album before that, they made like a video for all the tracks. So they wanted to be not nominated for the Grammys, but for the Oscars.
Right.
Because they wanted it to be a video project. So they always do like crazy
push it,
big. They push the envelope always. So you never know what to expect.
Yeah. Next level.
And then they did this like way down again.
They dope, man.
Which I wasn't expecting, because I expected it's going to be a big budget and crazy stuff.
Yeah. So they always, basically you saying they always been progressive.
Yeah.
But that's what made me too I'd be like, yo, this joint is really fresh, because I really liked it and wasn't understanding the words, but I still was like, that hook I could, what is it, Yalala? What are you saying?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, Jaman.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there, but how you pronounce that? You said
Jeg var der.
Yavada.
Jeg var der.
Yavada. That was dope, man.
Yeah.
And then the other vocalist that was coming in was bringing something different. Yeah. It was a vibe.
Don't ask me about the lyrics, because I don't even understand. I'm not sure even he knows, but it's dope.
It's a vibe, man. Sometimes, man.
I won't give those guys the joy of me trying to describe what they rapping about,
Right.
but
Right.
it's some poetic stuff.
Yeah, it's some poetic.
For sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes it's just vibe too, man. And
They probably have some deep meaning, but to me it sounds like gibberish.
but it
It
feel
sounds
right.
good. Yeah,
but
yeah,
it feel right.
yeah.
That's all. Look, what they created. Like ultimately, man, music is about a feeling, man.
Yeah.
Like how it make you feel.
Yeah.
And that song made me feel like, like I was just into it. I wanted to be a part of it, and then it made me feel good too. Like it was like celebration in a way of music.
Yeah. Yeah. Next one. Now it's Danish from Aarhus. This is their first single, and they came out of the woodworks like a couple of weeks ago with this video, and kind of, you'll see. And I also want you to pay attention to the lyrics, because I'm gonna ask you about something after it.
All right. The visuals dope out.
Mads på, April og Leonardo, og vi trykker ligesom vi var i Chicago. Her omkring skal der nemlig være fart på. Alle her omkring, de vil gerne være El Chapo. Rulle designer, trillegrønner vi shiner. Ligger zooming grinder, uge cruise der skejser. Rammer plads som i sniper, first class når vi rejser. Madagas så er det danger, Rouge der Casablanca. 6 biler patruljerer, der min holdet der kan på eskalere. Vi trykker nu på grænsler, vi vil ikke mere. Og jeg vil ramme i milde, ramme stort, ramme flere. Så tunerer i fucking angiver. Prøver ikke prøver, når de stikker sådan nogle bier. De vender ryggen til dig for lidt penge og nogle piger. Og jeg vil ramme i milde, ramme stort, ramme flere. Shut up, gang, bitch! Mads på, April og Leonardo. Og vi trykker ligesom vi var i Chicago. Her omkring skal der nemlig være fart på. Alle her omkring, vi vil gerne være El Chapo. Mads på, April og Leonardo. Og vi trykker ligesom vi var i Chicago. Her omkring skal der nemlig være fart på. Alle her omkring, de vil gerne være El Chapo.
Læg og kom på de nuller, vi bukker aldrig under. 2 på en 300 kubik, fuck den 9 og sag klik. Er det mig eller dig, der er heldig, vi ruller tungt. Kan mig venlig, fuck dem og deres hindi, for original, alt for hemmelig. Vi kender godt til det ganja, uden også hvad det jakker. Giv mig for det du mangler, der er ikke noget jeg angrer. Langt fra, tror mig jeg bønder, fuck en voksen i yngre. Det er din lommer vi tømmer, der er en grund til vi sønder. Så kast dit dubs op, hvis du er fucked up. Der er ikke nogen stop-knap, hvis du har ramt os. Hvor sine mange, kan de ikke fange. Det er derfor, det går bang!
Mads på, April og Leonardo. Og vi trykker ligesom vi var i Chicago. Her omkring skal der nemlig være fart på. Alle her omkring, de vil gerne være El Chapo. Mads på, April og Leonardo. Og vi trykker ligesom vi var i Chicago. Her omkring skal der nemlig være fart på. Alle her omkring, de vil gerne være El Chapo. Slapper af med vi malker, spil dummer, bliver trukket. Pussy niggas bliver plukket, en efter en lukket. Vi er ikke det de andre de taler, bitches vil have jeg betaler. De relikker fra kannibaler, på toppen af andre de bag os. Vi bliver bange når vi kommer på skulder. Mask på når vi tømmer de kugler. Hvad det gør mit arbejde vi smutter, hvad det gør mit arbejde vi ruller. Fuld af lyn, you are som guldner. Ikke trip på mig, for vi kommer lov flyt på dig.
Yeah, so that joint for me was like it felt like a hard movie, like I mean, the visual gave me something that was like, before the music, the visual was making me think of like some like dark movie or something. And then, you know, obviously they saying Chicago, they saying something that's like Chicago. So they giving the dark side of Denmark, right? I mean, to me, hip hop is always about, like, if you telling your story in an authentic way, I respect that. So I ain't even really know that Denmark had that type of energy, you know what I'm saying? Cause I've been there and just enjoyed it, like, yeah, I've had fun, like, but obviously a lot of places got, no matter where you at, it's hoods and it's cast is crazy. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that joint was just like a hard joint. It ain't like, you know, it just was a hard joint, and it was giving me a perspective of Denmark. And the video was like, it made me think of one of those movies that's real, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think, like, not the Joker, but something that's dark, but a dark one that I kind of like, though. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So obviously that was what I wanted you to hear, is the Chicago part, because what they saying is we pulled on the trigger like it was Chicago. Yeah. So they're really inspired by Chicago drill.
Yeah, the drill. I mean, as soon as I heard Chicago, I was like, oh, these dudes must definitely like Chief Keef and Dirk and like G Herbo and a lot of the drill music.
But how that make you feel as a citizen of Chicago?
I feel like, first of all, I feel like I gotta respect and honor that's what they got going on, and that's part of their lifestyle is what's happening. But I don't want Chicago to only be known for that. Like, that ain't all that we got. I just left Chicago. I just left my hometown, and it was like, man, it's a beautiful city. And, you know, fortunately, a lot of the drill sound that's just true to Chicago. It's real. It's for real. So cats telling their story. And that's why I said I can respect if they, you know, if this is happening and they feeling, and that's what's going on in Denmark and that from where they from, I gotta respect that. But Chicago you gotta think about Chicago we got the drill sound, but we also got Chance, you got No Name, you got Lupe from, you know, you got Ye, you got Saba, you got all these artists that's I mean, even, you know, Juice WRLD from Chicago. It's a lot of variety to Twister, to Do or Die, Crucial Conflict. I'm just taking it back, but I'm just saying how diverse the sound is. So I think, you know, our city definitely has had its issues with the violence and people and the murders, but that ain't nothing to be proud of. That's all I'm saying.
But still, like, when young people, especially over here, like when they actually write a lyric which is like it was Chicago, that's the that's
what they relate to it. Yeah. I mean, listen, it happens, and that's why you have rappers being able to say what they saying, like Dirk, you know. So I understand why they saying that, and you know, part of it is like, you know, our city, you know. You want your city to be known, but you don't want it only to be known for that. But we ain't only known for that. Put it that way. What's the name of that group though?
Shooter Gang.
Yeah, Shooter Gang. So I mean, they doing their thing. They represent what, you know. I respect it, like I said, just because you never know that side of Denmark. I didn't. No. And I didn't feel like it was like just being put on. I feel like, yo, these dudes coming from a real area in Denmark, and they telling their story.
Me and my girlfriend actually had this conversation yesterday, because she feels like it's put on, but if you've been to those areas and know those people, they actually, that's their reality.
I can see that them dudes, there's some dudes there that's living like that. That's point blank. You could see that that's part of their lifestyle. You know what I mean? I ain't saying they're going around just shooting people every day, but they in the hood.
Yeah.
That's all. They dealing with hood stuff. And, you know, naturally sometimes when you see, like, me coming from the south side of Chicago, you look and you be like, man, is it hood in Denmark? But I'm experienced enough to know now, yes, it is hood in certain places. Even though I haven't seen it, I recognize that that has to exist there. Yeah. And I can see that they are, you know, giving they real. It's good to hear the music from Scandinavian. I think you gave 3 different sides.
Yeah, that was the thought.
That was a great, 3 different sides, because the young artist, his name is, what's his name? Einar.
Yeah.
Man, he did his thing, he was doing his thing, like, and he brought it. And it was funny, like, I was thinking, you know, he was popping champagne and stuff. I guess you could drink at 16 over here.
He also drove a car, but you can't.
I know, that's what I was wondering. But I mean, 16 you could drive a car in the States, but regardless, musically, he was doing his thing, and he was styling. He had a dope voice. Yeah. And and the cats from Norway was dope. Yeah. Real dope. Yeah. You could see they just got it. Like, I didn't know how long they had been doing it, but you could hear that they're musicians, and they just got it. The song writing ability is really good. And then them cats from Denmark, I felt they was authentic with theirs. I felt it. Like, you know, you might be influenced by the Chicago or by the drill scene, but they still, it's kind of like, shoot, at the end of the day, hip hop for me was like, oh, I saw some cats that I really related to, and I wanted to express my side
Obviously, of it. They gravitate to drill because it resonates with them.
And what they live in.
Yeah.
So, I agree. I ride with it.
Yeah. It's so nice to talk to you.
Yeah, great to talk to you.
So,
bro.
I had a bunch of questions, but next time.
So we knock them out? Give me like, yeah, we can knock out the questions. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, you dropped a book.
Yeah.
That's where it started, right?
Yeah. Let Love Have the Last Word is the name of the book, and I was just writing. I wanted to write something with all that's going on in the world. Like, you know, as you can see in America, we having a lot of shootings. It's a lot of divisiveness going on. Even with what's going on with immigrants. It's been feeling heavy at times. A lot of the conversations. Yeah. So I wanted to put some energy in the world that was like positive, that is optimistic, that's hopeful, that actually is practical ways to create happiness for yourself and for others. Yeah. So I wrote that book. I started writing the book, and then, you know, I had a meeting with my team, and we were talking about the plan for the book. And they were like, you should do an album. No, they said you should do an EP, somewhat around the book. And I was like, whoa, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that. And I just started creating music, and themed in the book, themed and inspired by the book. And I started creating enough songs where I was like, oh, this has got to be an album. And it just felt real pure, and it felt like some of the music that I really, really love to do. And I focused on the music and wasn't like trying to do a film here and trying to do this there. I was really like, yo, I'm giving myself to this music because it means that much to me. Yeah. So that's what
I've seen, I haven't read the book, but I've seen like 3 40-minute interview about you talking about the book, and you told about something in the book which nobody knew, and that was also kind of my segue from the last video. Is you told something that maybe had something to do with your journey, and maybe a lot of people that goes into anger later on in life.
Well, just to put it out there and talk about what I talked about being molested when I was a little kid. And the reason why I chose to talk about it is because, especially as black people, as brown people too, we think that like that's something that happens in our communities and it's never talked about. And I believe it happens in all communities and it's never talked about. But specifically, I was around a lot of black and brown people when I was going to prison. I was going to do these prison visits. And I met people in prison who were doing life without parole, who was committed violent crimes. And they were like, all of them were tracing it back to being abused, whether it was sexual abuse or physical abuse, emotional abuse. And one person in particular, this dude named Bobby Gons, told us a story of how he was molested when he was 8 by this 13-year-old boy. And he didn't know what to do. And he said like he would always carry that around. He couldn't tell his family. And him not being able to tell his family led him to the first time he felt like, because he felt like people was picking on him, and if somebody knew, he punched this dude. And he said that was his way out, was violence. After he felt that punch, he was like, oh, this is the only way to get out of this. And that violence became eventually a murder. Yeah. And that, for me, let me know that, man, we got to deal with these issues. And we can't keep like hiding it under the table because that keeps the cycle going.
But how you go from that to make that book and make an album called Let Love and rapping, singing about love and spreading that message? Well,
I mean, that's what, when I'm talking about love, and it's not like the floaties, like just all this fall in love, love is soft and all that. It's not that. It's, hold on. Yeah, it's not, can you let them know it's gonna be like we got a few more questions, so thank you. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
So it's not love in that, like, it's love in action. So that, what I mean by that is like, man, it take work to forgive. Like, forgiveness is a hard thing to do, but you gotta do it. That's the only way to get to happiness for yourself.
Yeah.
So I brought up that subject because I had to work on forgiveness. And that forgiveness is not only for that person, but it's for me. And I feel like when we just watch Shooter Gang, right?
Yeah.
When we think about some of the murders that's happening in Chicago and all over, some of it's just a simple act of like somebody been hurt and they pissed and they angry and they gonna retaliate.
Hurt somebody.
They gonna hurt somebody. It's just that
chain reaction.
Right. Well, part of the ways to resolve that violence and not lose another life is to find out when you're dealing with that pain and that hurt, how can I like rise above that? How can I like elevate myself so that I don't go to that level and destroy somebody else and my life by going out and doing that? Yeah. So my thing was like telling my story, telling the tools and the resources that I had to help myself so that I can give to others and open up the conversation and open up the perspective so the cats can be like, oh man, therapy ain't bad. Therapy is good. Therapy can be helpful.
But that's
or
a
meditation.
Big message to put into a book.
Yeah,
album.
A book, it is, but it's necessary. And I know it's like coming from hip hop, you don't hear cats talking about that. You don't hear dudes talking about therapy or talking about meditation, but man, hip hop has always been innovative too. It's always been a voice. Like at one point, I first started hearing cats talk about 5%, the 5% nation, calling themselves gods. I never heard that before till I heard it through hip hop. Yeah. That was a culture in New York, the 5% nation. That was a part of Islam, but I had never even heard it. My point is, man, if I can't bring my authentic self to hip hop, then why am I doing it? Like, if I can't bring new thoughts to it, then what am I doing? I mean, this is my 12th album. So I ain't gonna be just saying the same stuff I was saying in 95. I ain't the same dude, you know? So I gotta...
How do you approach, like, it's a 12th album, there's a new crowd, there's a younger crowd. How do you approach music? Do you even think of trying to reach those people, or are you going in your lane? Or
well, I feel like, man,
all the people that knows you as an actor.
Yeah, I
how
mean,
to reach them.
Yeah, but I never been able to create thinking, how can I reach the New Yorkers? How can I reach LA? How can I reach the 35 and above? I always just created from like, what do I think is dope? What is fresh to me? And what am I really experiencing? My music has been part of my truth and my experience and just me telling my story in the Marvin Gaye style of writing, or, you know, and then me using my imagination in a Slick Rick way, you know, like that's what creativity is. It's like you create, you use your imagination too. And also me being a voice for the people, for people who are unheard. So some of those unheard people are 16-year-olds. They may be like, we don't even know Common as a musician, but they may hear something that may relate to them. Or they may not, but I'm not gonna chase. I don't chase age, I don't chase race, I don't chase religion. I just put out the dopest music I believe, and then it's gonna touch the people it need to. And sometimes people even grow into your music, you know what I mean? So like, I've had people say to me, man, I ain't like that Electric Circus album, but when it came out, but then years later they like, man, I actually liked it, it grew on me, or I got to that place. Or I can do a song about, I did a song about abortion. I talked about abortion. It's called Retrospect for Life, me and Lauryn Hill. I've had somebody just a week ago come to me and say, man, when that song came out, I was like, yeah. But once I had to go through that situation, I seen it in a whole different way. Yeah. And I think that's what we owe that to ourselves and to the audience as artists, to tell the truth. And that's all I do. And the truth, I wasn't listening to Michael Jackson like, man, Michael Jackson is 29 years old. I just was like, I love this music. Yeah. You know, so if I can strike the chord of just somebody loving the music, then it'll touch every age it's supposed to.
Well, are you able to be co-creative, like being in the middle of shooting a movie or series and then make music at the same time? Or do you have to, I'm an actor from this month to this month and now I'm going into the studio making music, or?
Well, that's a really good question because
there's a chance of being mediocre if you're trying to do everything at once.
I agree. So look, when I first started acting, like the first films I was doing, I wasn't trying to write not one song because I just need to focus on acting to become a great actor. I want to be one of the greats, so I had to focus on it. I'm new to it. I don't know what the process is. I'm studying acting in class, but I haven't been on a movie set, so I wasn't working on any music. Eventually, when I'm doing a film, I don't like be in a trailer trying to write a song. I'm committed to that character. Now, if I got weeks off, then I can work on some music. In my past albums, since like 2011, I've been always working on films while I'm working on the album. This is the first album, Let Love, which is, you know, just out now, is the first album that I wasn't trying to work on a movie. I was like, I'm focusing on this album. And so to answer your question the best way, I get my best work when I just focus on that particular art form, album. That don't mean like I wouldn't be able to work on an album and then if I have some time off, go do a film. But it's best that I like focus on the album and then do that and then go do a movie.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Likewise.
Appreciate you.
It was worth waiting for.